D-I-D-I. Watch us make bimbo as easy as pie. D-I-D-I-D-I. We are tough, you bet, filled with college pep. Bring him on, we cry. D-I-D-I-D-I. B-I-M-B-O. Bimbo.
Mystic order of the
boom boom hatcha, boom boom hatcha, boom boom hatcha, boom boom hatcha.
Wanna be a member? Wanna be a member?
No. There's the way out. Oh.
Wanna be a member? Wanna be a member?
No. Ouch! Oh, yeah, come on.
Wanna be a member? Wanna be a member?
No.
Hello, May. I've got a bone to pick with you.
No. Ouch! Oh.
Come inside, big boy.
What a pippin'! Oh dear!
Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to the EdgeStream. It's good to have you all here. That was one fucked up cartoon we just watched, and we'll get into analyzing it in a little bit. I think that it serves as a great metaphor for what we're going to talk about today with groomers. Yes, we will be talking about the groomer question, and it's good to see everybody here in the chat. I see that Raging Dissident shared the stream today on Telegram, so shouts out to him. And we got some cool people in the chat. One quick dub throwing up some slashies for Diagolon. Let's fucking go. Here to help spread the light. We got Ferryman in the chat. I think I saw Dean Clifford in there a second ago. I don't know what happened to his comments, but yeah, I think he might be around intermittently, he said. Eric, good to see you. Canadianism saying he hates sodomy. Well, that's your right. It's your right to think and feel how you want and to try and change the country to see how you fit. That's supposed to be that's supposed to be what a democracy is all about, you know. You have your opinion, but they don't want you to have that opinion. That's for sure. Rogue Spear, good to see you. Dean Clifford. Oh, he's here. I think they deleted his first comment. I guess he is that much of a person non grata that they're trying to censor him in my YouTube chat. Who the fuck knows? Free Spoken Media. Good to see you, buddy. And also, we have Entropy going. So if you guys want to make a donation that is not going to get skimmed by big tech, Entropy is a great startup that is almost censorship proof, and they're based as hell. So if you're gonna do a donation, do it there. I'll also be reading that chat. It'll be easier to read there. You can write questions there, and I'll make sure I look at those. It's good to see Trish in the Entropy chat. She's saying that she used to watch those cartoons when she was young. Yeah, they do not make cartoons like they used to. That's for fucking sure. But I have a lot to say about that. Dan the Raging Canadian, good to see you. Doings or doings, I'm not sure, but he's throwing up some slashes. Good to see you. Chris again, Misfit. Al Stern, good to see you, buddy. Okay, awesome. Godzilla Unchained. Now I want to introduce to you guys my friend here, my co-host for the night, CF Nature. How are you doing, buddy?
Hey everybody, yeah, I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on tonight.
Now this is his first time on stream. He's a good buddy of mine. I just went camping, or actually I didn't camp. I was too pussy to stay the night.
Yeah.
But I just went on a nice hiking trip with CF Nature. That's Canada First Nature. So the Canada First boys got together and we went on a bit of a hiking trip. And the other guys stayed for some camping, some spring camping. You know, they had all the gear. They did some survivalist shit. Shout outs to that, man. That's fucking awesome. Like, we got to get more of that going.
Yeah, for sure.
Unfortunately, I couldn't stay, but I did fall in a lake, and that was pretty fucking awesome. I got pretty cocky trying to across a branch that we threw over a lake to get to the other side. You know, I thought I had better balance than I did, and I tried to make the walk across, and I fell right in. I blame Shane Marshall of Canada First for his shoddy bridgemanship.
Yeah, we do need to up our bridge building skills.
Right, yeah, we do need to build bridges with each other. We need to connect this whole community. I like how you think, man. But anyways, it's good to have you here. I believe you can only stay for an hour, so we'll get through what we can. And I know that you are a youngin'. Like, you are several years younger than me in your early 20s. So yeah. One might consider me a groomer here. I am grooming you to be edgy like me and to be red-pilled. Though, yeah. I don't know. You might be more red-pilled than me because your generation, the Zoomers, is something else. It seems like there's a lot of you that are like more on the like reactionary extreme side of things because you have to deal with all these groomed kids, all these kids that are indoctrinated with this LGBTQ plus whatever agenda that's been going on.
Yep, for sure. So the way I see my generation is we are the most politically polarized, but there's a large percentage of people that are completely apolitical in the center. So if you're political even like a little bit, You're usually either one extreme or the other. That's how it goes. There's no mushy middle with our generation.
Right. And so there is probably a lot of leeway to pull some people in once these LGBT tyrannists, let's call them, once they infringe on their right to free speech, and once they cancel them, I think they will be crawling, the normies will be crawling over to our side here.
Yeah, for sure.
Because we do need to preserve free speech. That is one of the most important things. And now these people act like they are for freedom. But what really pisses me off about the LGBTQ plus whatever community is that they have never seen an anti-free speech bill in the last few decades that they didn't like, that they didn't support wholeheartedly and push to the ends of the earth.
Yeah, it's they're like completely complicit.
Right, like just like 60 years ago, were you not like wanting your own civil rights and stuff, and now you want to take it away from everybody else? I swear, you give them an inch and they take a mile.
Yeah.
But anyway, oh wait. By the way, let's get a location check. Are you out in like the middle? Are you outside right now? What are you doing? Are you literally in nature?
Of the woods.
Okay, awesome. I love it when my co-host is in the middle of the woods. Gives it a specific feel to the stream. I love it. You truly are
nature. In the
you
nature.
truly are Canada First Nature, buddy.
Yes.
Return to the natural origins of humanity, of evolution, of how we were born. You know.
Yes. Enjoy what God has.
What God gave you.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's get back to that cartoon, that fucked up cartoon that we watched at the beginning there. Okay, so this is called Bimbo's Initiation. And it was made by a company called the Flesher Company, which eventually got taken over by Paramount. But they were the hugest or indirect competitors to Walt Disney at the time, which was also making the earliest cartoons. But this cartoon is specifically trippy. You know what this reminds me of? You know The Simpsons, the Itchy and Scratchy show? Now I understand where the inspiration from that came, because I would have thought like, oh, the cartoons before weren't violent, like in the early 1900s or whatever. But then you see this. I think this was just before the production code came in, where things were getting out of control kind of in Hollywood for the sensibilities of the time, of all the normies of the time. And people were making crazy shit like this. So then they had to kind of rein them in. But, you know, I think this is pretty interesting. This whole thing seems like this guy Bimbo... an interesting name for like some kind of dog childlike character. He falls into a sewer and then is immediately being like groomed to be inducted into a secret society. And at every point of this thing, he resists it. And all these guys have a fixation with butts. Now that thing blew my mind. Like, their butts are always shaking, their butts are always sticking out. They're always trying to hurt his butt. Like, they're trying to cut off his butt. Yeah. They have paddles, literally with nails in them. Like, they're gonna fucking put that in his butt.
Oh, it is strange. It's
very strange. These things are trying to cut his butt once again. Oh! He's literally impaled in the butt by a blade. He's running away. The blade is licking its lips, trying to get into Bimbo's butt. Yeah. Jesus Christ, you couldn't have a more fucked cartoon. And this is in the National Film Registry for like the most important cartoons ever. And I'm not denying this is history, whatever you think of it. But overall, there's a lot of things in this that also make it seem like it's a Freemasonic induction into a secret society. Like every step of the way. And you know that the early members of Disney and like Hollywood were involved with Freemasonry and all these associated secret organizations.
Yep.
And yes, this really is like Itchy and Scratchy from The Simpsons. It's actually, I get why they included all that.
I don't get that reference, but...
Oh, you don't get that? The Itchy
no.
and Scratchy show? Okay, there's a generational gap right here.
Yeah.
I grew up on watching the old Simpsons on DVD, and the Itchy and Scratchy show was the cartoon that all the kids would watch. And it was extremely violent. It was like Tom and Jerry, but like more
Okay.
bloodily violent. And there was a couple episodes where they were trying to shut it down because it was crazy. But I think it was directly inspired by these cartoons. And at this point, he's going through all these different doors. What I see here is the Skull and Bones on the left. That's kind of the Skull and Bones Society that George W. Bush, the Bush family, and they're connected ostensibly to the Rothschilds and all these different like families that own massive amounts, or pretty much the globe at this point, throughout their extended bloodlines. But yeah,
I'm gonna have to dip into the bush here quick.
Okay, yeah, go for it. And then he opens up another door, and there's like a skeleton in it. And we know that one of the rituals for the Skull and Bones is that you have to jerk off into a coffin while telling your deepest, darkest secrets. And then you get $10,000. This is literally recorded. Like, this is common knowledge now on what goes on in these secret societies. So I don't know if that has anything to do with that, but there's many such examples. Oh, another here. He's riding on a bike and he's getting spanked by what appears to be a swastika of hands of some sort. Oh, the Masonic checkerboard floor, of course.
Yeah, there's so many symbols.
Yeah, the symbolism is crazy here. And then, of course, near the end, who does the person, this weird blackface character, who do they wind up being? Who do they reveal themselves to be? But the Betty Boop that becomes a generational cultural icon. And she does some kind of hooker dance here. Smacking an oversized butt again. I mean, this is some weird, sick shit.
Wanna be a member, wanna be a member.
Yes.
You want to be a member. And they're spanking each other's butts. Alright, folks, I don't know what to say about this. But, to be honest, that is pretty fucking fascinating. I would rather watch that than most things. Even at least for the historical realism and context. And yeah, these guys were the Flesher Company. So these guys were rivals of Disney early on, and they got bought out by Paramount. And who does Paramount own now that does cartoons? Nickelodeon. And what is Nickelodeon filled with? Pedophiles and groomers, of course, like Dan Schneider, who loves giving the kids foot massages. And I'm sure you could go look into all the different, pedogate type documentaries like Mouthy Buddha has made that show how producers at Nickelodeon and all these people involved with Nickelodeon on a high level are involved with pedophilia and try to insert weird pedophilic things into their Nickelodeon cartoons. And the same with Disney. So, I think there's something going on with all these different companies on a very deep level.
I'm back. Sorry.
Okay, you're good? You're good now?
Yeah.
But I definitely do think that this serves as an allegory for groomers today. They're all trying to induct them into their secret society of some sort. Now, at this time, I think it actually was the Freemasons that this was inspired by, and that's what they were referencing. But now I think the new society is like the New World Order and this global homo transhumanism style New World Order where there's no difference in gender, and you're all atomized from your previous identities. You're all cut off from your roots, and now you're part of the system. You're another cog in the system, and it's like Brave New World, where they want you to be intoxicated by their many distractions, be it drugs, be it sex, and they don't want you to look at the fact that you can't have a livable wage, you can't have a family anymore. E. Michael Jones, the Catholic theologian, likes to call it the gay disco. And yes, they are coming after your butts. They're trying to do things to your butt. And they want you to be a member of the LGBTQ plus movement. So I don't know if that's a bit of a stretch, but I think it's a good start. Okay, sorry, I think you're breaking up in there. You might be too far in the bush, buddy. But anyways, let's see what Disney is doing nowadays. Let's see what they're up to nowadays.
Accelerate the...
Time in Nickelodeon.
Oh, great. So, okay, no, this is Nickelodeon. So, actually, this is, I guess, the evolution of the company that we just saw. So, let's see where they're at now. Nickelodeon says on Twitter, just last week, Rebecca truly is an inspiration. We stand with all kids and their families today on Transgender Day of Visibility and every day.
In honor of International Transgender Day of Visibility, meet Time and Nickelodeon's 2021 Kid of the Year finalist, Rebecca Brusahoff.
Growing up in the LGBTQ plus community has given me a different perspective on how I see the world. Trans kids are so much more than their gender identity, and it's so important for people to listen to kids. I wish for a world where everyone can be lifted up and celebrated.
Evil.
Today and every day.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like, what do kids know? They can't vote. They can't do all these things.
Yeah.
They need
But they can cut
parental
their dick off,
guidance.
though.
Like, they just come fresh off of shitting and pissing themselves.
Yeah.
And you're going to turn them into the opposite gender? Like,
It's disgusting.
right. Now, let's see what Disney is up to. So we got the Sweet Life of Zach and Cody was a show that I grew up watching. And now the male co-stars there, they have a lot to say about how the female co-stars are sexualized. And I think I said this pretty well in a private conversation that made the recipient of this comment laugh. But, like, it's like that Disney and Nickelodeon, they have a child star to like super slut pipeline.
Yeah.
And you could see that with somebody like Hannah Montana, where it's just like she was Miley Cyrus, her real name. She was wildly successful as Hannah Montana as a kids show icon, and then she slowly becomes more and more of a slut. Well, not slowly. As soon as she turns 18, essentially.
Same with Ariana Grande as well.
Right, just immediately hypersexualized to the moon to milk every bit out of them.
Yeah.
And that's what these guys are saying. And these guys kind of played it modest. Like, after their show finished, they went to school and they kind of laid back for a bit. And then they had, like, some more modest roles. And this is what they have to say. That, like, they say, don't worry about us. Worry about the female co-stars of our shows. Like, the people that we're working with were basically lusting over them and just willing to do whatever they could to exploit them sexually.
Yeah.
So this is from the horse's mouth here. And now I think with this LGBTQ plus agenda and how Disney fits into this, because we're going to talk shortly about the Florida bill that DeSantis put forth, where they say that you can't teach, I think it's kindergartners to grade 3.
4, I think.
About gay sex, LGBTQ plus stuff that is unbecoming for kids those age, essentially. And this has got Disney seething. They're going into a rage. They're trying to do publicly whatever they can to stop it. It's like, what do they want? Do they want the Sprouse twins too? I feel like it's not enough that they are able to overly hypersexualize the young girls here. It's like they want these young, sexy boys too. What in the fuck?
Yeah.
I shouldn't even be calling them sexy boys. That's fucked up. But, you know, Disney, it's what Disney wants. And what Disney wants is what Disney gets. Because I think they have a lot more power than the state of Florida with Ron DeSantis in charge does. So I think we're living in two different realities here.
Yeah,
when these
for
two
sure.
forces clash.
Well, we'll see what happens. I'm, it just exposes that the bill isn't really that good. Wait till they're in fourth grade to groom them type thing.
Right, it really isn't. So when I heard about this, I was like, okay, so I don't know what all the kickback is about, but then I went and looked into it more, and it's like, oh, they're only doing it for kindergartners to grade 3?
Yeah.
That's it? I was like, that is wildly inadequate. You know that these groomer teachers are going to be just like frothing out the mouth to teach them in grade 4. Anyways, I'll just read a bit of the highlights that I have here about what's going on with this bill. It says, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signed a bill on Monday that forbids instruction on sexual orientation and gender identity in kindergarten through grade 3, a policy that has drawn intense national scrutiny from critics who argue it marginalizes LGBTQ people. The legislation has pushed Florida and DeSantis, an ascending Republican and potential 2024 presidential candidate, to the forefront of the country's culture wars, with LGBTQ advocates, students, Democrats, the entertainment industry, and the White House denouncing what critics have called the Don't Say Gay bill. Now, you know what? I don't think of it as the Don't Say Gay bill. Every time I see some of this shit, you know what I think? Ha! Gay! You know, they're not going to take away our words, or they're not going to put words in our mouth to take away words. I'll say it all I want, okay?
Gay.
DeSantis and Republicans...
Go ahead, sorry.
We have Ramatane just subscribed. Good to see you, buddy. DeSantis and Republicans have repeatedly said that the measure is reasonable and that parents, not teachers, should be broaching subjects of sexual orientation and gender identity with their children. Wow, what a fascinating concept, right? We will make sure that parents can send their kids to school to get an education, not an indoctrination, DeSantis said before he signed the bill into law. He and other speakers stood at a podium affixed with a placard reading, "Protect children, support parents." Now, of course, Disney has to step in. You know, these multinational corporations, they don't like the state's sovereignty. They don't like it when a red state is doing what a red state does.
Yeah.
And, asserting their right to determination. So Disney wants...
Their chair board is interesting.
Their chair board?
Yeah, their board of directors or whatever.
Oh, how so?
Oh, I don't know. They're just, I don't know.
Well, I'm sure I know what you mean. But Disney wants laws repealed or struck down. Public backlash began almost immediately after the bill was introduced, with early criticism coming from none other but Chasten Buttigieg, the husband of Pete Buttigieg. Buttigieg, yeah. So this guy, he's the U.S. Transportation Secretary, and he was also a presidential candidate for the Democrats in the 2020 election. He's also a completely astroturf politician, and E. Michael Jones outlines his significance very well. E. Michael Jones, the Catholic theologian, with his metaphor of the gay disco. And the gay disco is that the establishment wants to put forth a false sense of democracy and freedom that involves their global homo new world order, which means that they want to put forth these gay rights bills and all these gay rights initiatives, which are basically just promoting gay people above other people for no other reason other than like they're special snowflakes and they have been supposedly or ostensibly suppressed in the past. But anyways, this comes at a cost, and the cost is you're lowering wages, your jobs being exported internationally. So basically, they're replacing the freedom of living a good life, of being able to have a family, have a livable wage, like a man working and then being able to provide for his family, his wife and his children, the wife staying at home and raising the children. You won't get that anymore because the economy is so tanked. Instead, they will bombard you with LGBTQ plus whatever issues nonstop. And then the economic issues will just become part and parcel of our new way of life. The gay disco, you know? And they want you to succumb to degeneracy. They want you to succumb to, you know, just dating.
Oh, I think you...
Camera went out there. I just popped it up again. Yeah, they want you to succumb to dating. What makes me laugh about E. Michael Jones is he considers anything the gay disco, which is not heterosexual marriage with, like, wife and kids and all that. Which is true in some aspects. Like, if you're going around and dating and stuff, and you're fucking all these chicks, and you're also living that life where you're only on a single family income, you're not reproducing, which is what they're deadly afraid of. They're afraid of good Christian families reproducing and being productive and fighting back against their system. Now, I could understand why people would want to opt out, especially men, since they're getting such a bad rap and they're getting fucked over by all of this. But this is, I think that they kind of want that too.
Yeah.
But anyways, to go on here, another interesting portion of this is at the bill signing ceremony on Monday, several young children accompanied DeSantis and other politicians near the podium, with some holding signs bearing the governor's "Protect Children, Support Parents" slogan. So, I saw this picture, I don't have it up here right now, but it was pretty white-pilling. It was great optics, just a bunch of young, like, good optics, Christian, like, high school students just standing there in solidarity with DeSantis.
Protect children up to the 3rd grade, though.
Yeah, only till the 3rd grade, yeah.
Yeah, they should have that.
You know, we'll work with what we can. At least this is
good step.
This is getting this into the public conversation so that people know what's going on. And now groomer has become a household term. You know how they call us Nazis? I mean, the trucker convoy, the freedom convoy, when that was happening, the media just immediately descended upon it, said that we're like destroying Terry Fox statues, we're all Nazis, there's Nazi flags everywhere. Complete utter bullshit. And then we're on the defense. So, you know what you say to that? Okay, groomer. As Ferryman's Toll said it in all his memes that he's been spreading around. Okay, groomer. Okay, I'm going to check the chat to see what everybody's saying. But I have a grooming extravaganza to show you guys.
It's just one note.
Yeah, go ahead.
About school. It's really interesting to see just how far we've come in, or regressed, I guess you'd say, in the last like even 10 years or so. When I was in elementary school, we got sent home letters. I forget what grade it was in, but we got sent home letters that our parents had to sign saying I think it was the 7th or 8th grade even, that we had to get permission to go into sex ed class, just like the simplest sex ed class in a Catholic school. Like we still had to get permission and sign it down and everything. And now we're talking about, you know, stopping kindergartners from getting groomed. You know what I mean? It's just crazy.
Exactly. Yes. So you, at an age several years younger than me, so much that we have that you don't understand The Simpsons in the way that I do. Like, even you're still saying that. But for me, in Catholic school, we didn't have to deal with any of this shit. In fact, I remember the one experience where it was like, wow, this is an LGBTQ plus onslaught on our, like, all the children's minds, was in high school. There was definitely gay kids at our high school. We had a huge high school, and this was a Catholic high school. So nobody really bothered the gay kids. Like, some of them were out of the closet, some of them weren't. It was like, whatever, you know? But there was one really gay kid who was obviously mentally ill too.
Wow,
and he would talk to the girls about wanting to, to fuck all like other guys that were in his gym class and shit. So obviously they're uncomfortable. Now they're in a room with somebody who's lusting upon them. That is like all fucking weird and mentally ill and shit. So yeah, that's going to be a little bit of a problem, but whatever. Nobody really even bullied this guy. Like people just didn't want to deal with him, so they just be like, whatever. Like the guy wasn't really even that bullied. But then his boyfriend was going to come to the school, and right before the beginning of the next semester, they posted a video online in transvestite drag or whatever, threatening all the students, saying that like if you mess with me or my boyfriend Michael, like prepare to feel my wrath and stuff. Like I'm gonna go into whatever washroom, or like the opposite washroom, the men's washroom or the women's washroom, and I'll do what I want. And if anybody has a problem with it, like prepare to get stomped out by a tranny in stilettos. That's literally what they said in the YouTube video. And then obviously everybody in the comments is like, you fucking freak. Oh my god, fuck. So then our douchebag principal, on the first day that this person transferred and came to our school, they brought them in the office and expelled them, obviously. Because they're obviously trying to cause trouble. Yeah, fuck off. But then our douchebag principal went on the announcements and basically screamed at everybody on the announcements like he always did, calling us transphobic or like, how disgusting we were for responding to this. And it's like, okay, yeah, whatever. And then even our students were like, yeah, we didn't even care that much that this person was whatever they claimed to be. It's just that they were extremely vile and disgusting and like threatening everybody. Like, what the fuck? Like, nobody was hateful against this person. Maybe a few people were like, oh, you fucking freak in the comments. But like, they could have easily avoided that. And yeah, that's probably the only contact I had that was like very jarring in that situation.
No, I never really had any situation like that. That was that. Yeah, there was no transvestite. Though there was actually a transvestite. I didn't. People used to bully them, and now at my old high school, there's a fucking gay flag there now apparently flying, which is a shame.
Right, and all schools will have it, and if they don't have the pride flag or the new trans flag flying, then they're probably liable to catch some shit for committing a hate crime by just not having it there. That's the point where we're
even
at.
On the inside, I knew where was it in Hamilton? There they decided that they were going to fly it for what was it, Pride Month? I think it was in front of their schools.
Right.
There was like this big thing about.
Well, yeah, they'll do that. They'll paint every crosswalk with the pride colors. If you skid across that with your car, that's a hate crime. If there's skid marks, you could have skid across it because you're trying to avoid hitting a cat or something.
Throttle stick. Sorry, didn't mean to.
Yeah, no worries. But yeah, it's getting to that point now. And if you look at what's happening in Florida, and then you look at, meanwhile, in Canada, nobody would have the balls to put forth even something as tame as DeSantis, tame and reasonable as what DeSantis is putting forth in Florida. You would not get that here in Canada. In fact, they're banning conversion therapy.
Yeah, we have the complete opposite with Bill C6.
Right, and this isn't like violent, like we're gonna rip you out of your home and like Clockwork Orange, tape your eyes open and make you watch straight fucking porn. Make you watch a lesbian, if you're a guy, make you watch like lesbians, Scissor and 69 till you like pussy and shit. No, oh wait, no, that would be the opposite. You'd have to watch gay porn while they're giving you drugs if it's a Clockwork Orange. Okay, but anyways, yeah, they're banning conversion therapy. So let's see what's happening in our segment. Meanwhile, in Canada, I'll just throw up.
Let's see what wonderful things this country has to show for itself.
Yeah. So it's called Bill C/4, and you got the summary right here. It says this enactment amends the criminal code. This is criminal code to, among other things, create the following offenses: A, causing another person to undergo conversion therapy. So you convince them, or your parents, you're genuinely concerned that your kid is getting in with a homosexual crowd of groomers, possibly older often as they are within that community.
Yeah.
Doing anything
what
for
is
the
it, up
purpose.
to 30% of is it 30%? I think it's 30% of kids that are groomed by someone part of the LGBTQ whatever community.
Right. Yeah, I mean, other stuff like there's many other statistics that are just alarming, like the suicide rate for trans people. Now, they'll claim that their suicide rate is a reason why they need a transition, because they'll kill themselves if they don't. Imagine having something like, I'll kill myself if you don't let me do this, or if you don't make other people accept me doing this. I'll kill myself.
No. How about you?
Imagine that.
Before?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. But anyways, Part B of this bill, doing anything for the purpose of removing a child from Canada with the intention that the child undergoes conversion therapy outside of Canada. So they covered people trying to bring it outside of Canadian jurisdiction. And then C, promoting or advertising conversion therapy. So maybe I might be criminally liable for simply being against this bill. Because, in a sense, I might be promoting this if somebody interpreted it in that way.
True.
Or D, receiving a financial or other material benefit from the provision of conversion therapy. Now, what if somebody donated to me because I convinced them? Then I'm guilty of both C and D. This is fucking crazy. Like, can you not at least suggest that a child goes and does this? Now, what if they are like, yeah, you know what? I don't want to go down this life. Like, anyways, why are you taking into account what this kid says? That you're supposed to be a parent. You're supposed to teach them properly. And, this is for parents in a parental relationship with their kids. How meddling, how fucked up is that?
Mm-hmm. It's so fucked up. It's unbelievable, actually, at times.
Man, and we know that there's cases in BC
where
the father is like barred from seeing his child, and he's got a gag order and faces prison time because he's against his his divorced wife transitioning his son or daughter. And I think they're like 14 or 15 years old. Yeah. And the worst thing about it is the drugs. The drugs that will permanently alter their life course. The chemical castration. How long before they're actually doing physical castration in order to streamline the process?
I give it at the rate we're going. I'll give it 2 years before they start doing that.
2 years, okay.
It's so fucked up. We're not going like this. We're just going exponentially. We haven't even seen the tip of the iceberg.
Things are accelerating every day. It's getting closer.
Yeah.
Now we have to ask, what is a groomer? Because this new term groomer has become popularized in the last 1 or 2 weeks. I've seen anybody slightly edgier than a mainstream conservative is talking about the groomer question. So, in previous times, in more wholesome times, this is what a groomer used to be. Just a guy with his doggo brushing in it, making sure that its hair is not growing too long, making sure he's clean. Just a man and his dog. What great wholesome times we used to live in. So that is what used to be a groomer. But, then the darkness presides over, and we have a different kind of groomer. The 35-year-old groomer meme. Somebody who tries to talk to a kid, and, he wants to go as young as he can. And, he's very morally unscrupulous. This guy belongs in jail. Let's just say that. You act so mature for your age. What's your Snapchat hat? You know, these are the guys that you'll find on To Catch a Predator. You know,
Mhm.
that sucks. You grew up without a dad. Yeah, that is a sign that your child is more susceptible to being groomed if they don't have a
Mhm.
solid father in the home. Yep. Wow, I would have never guessed you were that young. Ha ha ha. Yeah. Total groomer statement. But now we have a new kind of groomer. Because this groomer here, everybody knows they're a scumbag, right? This is easily identifiable behavior. But now you have a new kind of groomer where it's the LGBTQ plus groomer. You know, running for city council to make drag queen mud wrestling mandatory in all local elementary schools. It's true. I actually just saw a video of a drag teacher
Okay.
performing a sexual dance in front of children on school hours.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I did not hear
I'm
about
not fucking kidding.
I did not hear about that.
You didn't know about drag teachers, bro?
No, I knew about drag teachers. I just didn't hear about that specific. I knew about the drag story time and all that.
A student in this school right here, Middleton Cross Plains Area School District School, were treated to a drag queen performance by a drag teacher during school hours. Imagine if they focused on teaching math, science, and history instead of drag.
Oh, imagine.
This is sickening.
What the? Oh,
This is literally like a strip show with like.
I would have got up on stage. I would have.
You would have redacted, okay? Right?
Yes.
Let's just say that.
You know,
Okay, well, I'm not going to treat you guys. I'm not going to subject you guys to that, fortunately. So we'll get back to the groomer meme. You know, can't reproduce gayness, must groom kids into it. Yeah, it does seem for a lot of these groomer teachers that are seething over this new Florida DeSantis bill. Like, they can't even over the fact that they can't inject their gay sex lifestyle into kindergartens to literal like grade 3. So what is that? 7, 8-year-olds?
Yeah, I believe around then.
Right. So what I think is that they're so mentally damaged themselves that they need the world and especially little kids to be able to accept their lifestyles and everything about them. So they need that validation. They're seeking validation. So that's one of the reasons why they're grooming. I don't think that they're all trying to molest kids, you know. I think that's an overgeneralization. I think some are, like an alarming amount per capita compared to, you know, other people who are teaching normal sexuality. Like normal. In my Catholic school, we each year for health or religion classes, we had a book called Fully Alive, and there
Fully
was that
Alive, that's the one.
Fully Alive, yes. You had that one
go to
page.
page 49. Go to page 49.
Yeah, and you had the penis and the vagina. You know, all the kids would be like, fucking licking the pussy on the Fully Alive page. You know, people would be defacing it, drawing mustaches on the pussy. Fucking, you know, writing notes to each other, go to page 49. It was fucking jokes, man. And, you know, the guys would get their licks in with the teachers when you could ask anonymous questions in the hat about sex and stuff. It was good times. It was, you know, I didn't know what having sex actually was until I think I was like grade 6 or 7. Well,
yeah.
Now I was probably one of the first generations where porn was all of a sudden readily available just by the type of your finger online, anything you could find like Pornhub. So that's also not good. That's horrible. And I think that's going to fuck with people's, especially kids' minds growing up for a time to come. I think it's going to cause a huge incel problem.
No, even my generation, it's already...
oh, well, your generation is even worse. Like, you guys probably had that.
It's like third grade, probably. Third, fourth
That's
grade.
Fucked. Yeah, that is unconscionable at my...
it is. Like, it's very fucked.
Even for my generation. But, yeah, I didn't even know what having sex was probably till, like, grade 6 or 7. I thought it was like you just smacked the wiener on the vagina. That's pretty... That's pretty sad that I didn't know that till that age. But you
No,
know,
it's a good thing.
no, that's a
actually.
good thing. My innocence was stayed intact. You know,
Yeah.
because you know, like what happens to these kids at Disney and Nickelodeon, and like these stars, they are probably groomed. They're probably a lot of them are probably raped, and I think that these elites, these sick pedophile elites who associate with Epstein specifically, and I think it reaches far beyond that, like Weinstein and all this shit. I think that they have a dark art about like breaking kids' minds apart with these kinds of abuses. Like Kevin Spacey's dad would molest him and do all this sick shit to him, and now look what happened to him, you know. I think Kevin Spacey's brother spoke out about that and how his father was like some sicko that caused him to have these urges himself. So it's like you pass on the abuse, you know. You pass on the abuse. That's what happens.
They're trying to continue the cycle on. Groom your kids, basically, literally groom your kids.
Right. So here's
which is now you didn't with the bill, what was it, C4?
Yeah.
You didn't also mention the fact that it was only illegal to do it one way, to change your child's gender to cisgender, or their gender identity to their sexual identity to heterosexual or whatever. It's only illegal that way.
So once again, it's just a glaring double standard. You know, just like the anti-white diversity double standards that are being encoded in our laws, you know? Like, white people can be discriminated against for jobs, for literally everything.
Yeah.
Yet, you know, we're the ones who are the oppressors. Yeah, okay. Yeah. It's another one of those inversions of the
Your parents don't
double
love
standards. Now, this is a particularly aggressive groomer teacher that actually, I believe he's on administrative leave because of statements like this.
Is it a he, or am I about to see something I won't be able to...
I don't know. It's like an anime character of some sort. Yeah. I don't know. So, if your parents don't accept you for who you are, fuck them. I'm your parents now. She's getting very cocky about it. This teacher was let go last week after complaints of grooming, and this TikTok, plus others containing questionable content, were brought to the principal's attention.
Hey, if your parents don't love and accept you for who you are this Christmas, fuck them. I'm your parents now. I'm proud of you. Drink some water. I love you. Bye. Hey, if your parents don't love...
Fuck you. How about that? Fuck you.
This guy, stay punk. Yeah, that's pretty punk, man. I'm trying to be more generous and speak in more good faith, not just say okay groomer, even though I think it's warranted in almost every situation here. Okay, I forget what my point exactly was here, but okay, yeah, some parents they do not deal with their children with compassion, and I could imagine that, you know, like you could just imagine the father being like, "What? My son is gay? Oh, I'll fucking beat him and shit." You know, I think there's some
with them, but
yeah, you have to communicate with your children. You have to.
No, I kicked them out of the house.
Right. Okay. So yeah, there's different ways to deal with this, but I think that we need to educate people on how to deal with this growing social problem.
Yeah. In
a productive way, too, and it seems like there's an extreme on the other side. It's like this weird groomer who's like, come to our side. Everything you do is okay. Don't worry. Like, get groomed by me. And then, like, the dichotomy is that on the other side, it's just like that crazy psycho Christian dad who's gonna fucking, like, beat you and toss you out of the house at age 12 because he thinks you might be gay or something. So I think there needs to be a more, you know, logical, rational, empathetic dialogue, so that these kids who are being maligned and possibly, you know, they're maladaptive, right? Because a lot of kids are maladaptive in this fucked up society. You kind of have to teach them the ways of Christ, the ways of respecting and accepting who you were born as in an empathetic way.
Yeah, for sure. I think cutting out technology as well would be important as well, because I know.
That's good. Mr. Nature there.
Hello?
Yeah, you're there?
Yeah.
All right, here's another groomer. So we have different levels of groom here. I think that was one of the more malicious styles of groom. Now this one This one is more pernicious than malicious because they have a bunch of pseudo intellectual arguments that I could probably debunk here as they go. So let's go. Let's go toe to toe, Mr. Blue here, okay?
Hi, I'm a queer teacher, and I 1000% do not support this bill. And yes, I do know what's in it. The bill in itself is just another way to stigmatize the LGBTQ plus community. Kids as young as 3 and 4 are actually aware of their gender identity.
So once again, she's in it for herself. You're trying to stigmatize us. No, this is about the kids, okay?
Yeah.
Leave yourself and your ego and your need for validation out of it.
As young as 3 and 4 are actually aware of their gender identity, even if...
Maybe so, but they are completely malleable to your screwy mind games. So I don't think that's a good argument for you being allowed to groom 3 or 4-year-olds into being trans. That's
what
fucked
a freak.
up.
What a
if
freak.
they don't have the language for it. Also very aware of who they like and who they don't like.
No, really? Sexually?
Really? Yeah.
Heterosexuality is pushed on our kids on a daily basis at a very young age. Media, through books. The first Disney movie that you saw. Say that
Disney.
Through having loving parents and 2 parents. Yeah.
Pre-K through 3rd grade are not ready for such topics is actually internalized homophobia and transphobia.
Oh, there it is. There it is. You're a homophobe, you're a transphobe, you hate. You hate. Mm-hmm. If you don't agree with us, you hate. Okay, groomer.
Very much ready for these topics and are way more accepting than adults when it comes to discussing these topics.
Oh, so kids are more accepting than adults when it comes to this stuff. So the people who our brains have not even began to grow. Imagine how stupid I was at 5 years old.
What?
At 7 or 8 years old, I knew literally nothing. At 20 years old, I was a fucking retard. At 25, you're a retard, you know.
Yeah.
At 25, I was still pretty fucking dumb. And I feel like I'm just coming into who I am and what my beliefs really are. And like I'm solidifying myself as a strong person. And I still have my flaws, God help me. But no, I'm starting to come along. But Jesus. These kids are smarter than the adults. No, you're grooming them before they could become adults and have opinions and be able to block off the bullshit that you're putting upon them.
Yeah. 3 and 4 years old. I don't even remember being 3.
Yes,
4.
yes.
Like literally.
It's beyond our memory. It's beyond our scope of like what we could even fathom of who we were in our lives.
It came up to the hour there, by the way. I can stay on for a little bit longer.
Okay, yeah. So your data in the forest in nature is running out.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll wrap up this groomer segment in the next few minutes, and then we'll take a break, and then I'll get on to some other topics.
Gender assumptions, pronouns, all the things. And it is child development appropriate and age appropriate. It's literally created as just another means to other queer people.
Once again, their ego, the need for validation, my community, if you want to take it in your bum, just do that behind closed doors. Like, fuck off. Stop trying to take away our free speech while you think that free speech is teaching kids about butt sex. It's not. We're not allowed on Twitter because someone like this would say that it's a private company. And they could be able to kick us off even though it's a monopoly. And this person would probably want criticism of them completely banned and criminalized. So shut the fuck up.
Basically say that us existing is not normal. Hi, I'm a queer
It isn't
teacher.
normal. It's abnormal. You're the odd they them out. Now, I wouldn't say every gay person is a freak, but it's like this need for validation and this need to tread on everybody else. That's freakish. That's freakish behavior. And it is abnormal. It's not normal. That's not how you procreate. Evolution, the force that drives the universe to become what it is, and for humanity, our own lived experience, all the progress that we've had now, it did not come from putting your wiener in another man's ass. It did not come from a bunch of lesbians scissoring each other. I'm sorry. You could do that. You could do that. I will not sentence you to death like they do in Africa or some shit. And I even doubt that they really do that much there too. Sorry, my camera just went out. I was hitting it on. But yeah, the need for validation, it's just sad, and you know, leave the kids out of it.
Yeah.
Okay, here, I'll leave us off with some fun ones.
Okay. Let's see.
One or two here. Introducing the fish self. So, this is just some more circumstantial proof, evidence that a lot of this is just, you know, more ego validation and the need to feel like you're something else, like you're special and part of a community. So this person identifies as fish gender and uses toy and toy self pronouns. Toy's parents must be so proud. Thank you, libs of TikTok, for finding this. So new pronoun set check. Okay, new pronoun set check. Please wait till the end. They, them, theirs. Perfectly fine, thank you.
We can't see it if you're trying to put it on screen there.
Oh, sorry. There we go. New pronoun set check. Please wait till the end. They, them, theirs. Perfectly fine, thank you. Toy, toys, toy self. These are my main pronouns. Thank you for respecting my identity.
That's the irony.
Fish, fishes, fish self. I've actually identified with fish gender for a long time. My name was Fish for years. So this pronoun set is very comfortable and nice for me. Thank you. And it's having a lot of fun because you identified it as fish self. But come on, guys. This is what this is leading to. You have a person of ambiguous gender with a wall full of collectible toys. What is this going to do to advance society?
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know what to say.
This is an adult right now that wasn't, like I said before, school wasn't so fucked up before, and now
right. Imagine what they're going to be now.
I imagine what they're going to be now in 20 years after these kids go through. It's going to be
right.
I don't know. I can't even imagine.
Well, I know. I saw a post by Ben Shapiro, and he was saying, we're going to have an epidemic 10 years from now, an epidemic of suicides from this normalization of mental illness. Gender dysphoria is a mental illness. I'm sorry. If you want to cut off one of your arms and be one of these trans amputees or trans-abled people, that's considered a mental illness. But you want to cut your dick off? No. That's progress.
Yeah, that's brave.
It's not progress.
Yeah.
That's something that we used to watch on Live Leak or some other fucked up site called BME Pain Olympics, where a guy chopped his
Pain
dick
Olympics.
off. The Pain Olympics.
It's
yes.
a throwback.
Right next to Two Girls, One Cup, we had the Pain Olympics, and it was nasty. Okay, this is the last one we'll watch before we go on break.
This is more nasty.
It's more pernicious, for sure. It's not as graphic, but it presents itself as something wholesome, which is kind of scary because that's what it leads to. It leads to you chopping your dick off. But anyways, I'll let you go after this, and then I'll get into some other topics, and I'll take a little music break.
Sounds good.
but this one will set you off, man. This is from a good Twitter account, iHypocrite.
So, what is your what is your name?
My name is Kit.
Is that short for anything?
It is short for kitten.
15 to 17, by the way.
Cracker Tweak by Cracker
Why is he named
Tweak.
Kit?
Did you say Crack or Tweak?
Cracker Tweak.
That's the Tweaker Hunters, right? That you
Yes,
referenced?
yes,
Yes.
the Tweaker
I
Hunters.
love the Tweaker Hunters.
Yes,
I'm a great
yes,
respecter of the
let's
Tweaker
go.
Hunters.
Let's
Okay.
go.
Yeah, we'll talk about that some other time. But mad respect for the YouTube channel, the Tweaker Hunters.
Kitten.
Because I'm a cat.
Nice.
A cat cell.
I mean, I could give a bit more complicated answer. It's not really like family friendly though. It's just a little adult.
Little adult. Oh,
So this
right.
15 to 17-year-old identifying person, oh, not person, because they might be a cat, is, withholding her sexuality to the camera because it might be inappropriate, like her cat self. At 15 to 17, we don't know. You'll see what she has to say about
Yeah,
her
maybe
age.
not. What's your age?
My age changes. I slide between
Oh, wow.
15 and 17.
How
That
long
makes
till the
sense.
groomers are binary age, I guess binary doesn't make sense.
Her
You know,
her
have a
father
subjective age.
Her father took her birth certificate when he left.
Okay.
So
Right,
she
right,
doesn't
right.
know. She doesn't know. She can't figure it out.
That's a very plausible theory there. Thanks.
Yeah.
Safe nature.
Nice. What is your role in the system?
Roll in the system. Wow. Oh, we're just cogs in the system, bro.
I'm like the sexual protector.
Tight. That was
No,
terribly
yo,
White
yo!
supremacist hand signal.
White supremacist hand signals.
Based. Okay.
Unbelievable.
That was
Based
babe.
tranny?
worded. I didn't mean to do that on purpose, but we're totally keeping that in.
So I am Japanese. I am small.
Japanese and schmal. So is transracial allowed now? Can
Yo.
I say nigga finally? Oh, I just did. Shit, I do have the N pass. It's in my wallet over there. I seriously have an N pass in my wallet. I make sure
See,
to
I
flash
don't.
it.
I don't.
Yeah,
but
you know,
my
he
nigga.
knows, he
You my
knows.
nigga.
Yo, I'm a trans nigga, my nigga. Okay, I can say it. I can say it. I literally have the N pass signed by a black guy. I have video proof of it. So, if anyone wants to challenge me on that, you need to respect my identity, you bigot.
I have long black hair, but sometimes it also changes color. Like these are all my favorite colors, so sometimes it's all these colors as well. My aesthetic is very
I mean, the hair looks pretty cool. I'll say that.
like gothic Lolita. Ooh.
Okay, now that's just sick. Gothic Lolita, cool, man. Okay, and then this is something else here. This is one of the
Let's
main
see.
things I want to
It's all
show.
these colors as well.
This person
My
here
aesthetic
on
is
the
very,
left
like, gothic
disassociates
Lolita.
into the void, switches,
Hey,
grounding.
Sorry.
that's alright. Hey, how are you?
Hey, great.
Accent
What the
slowly
fuck?
comes
You
in.
alright?
Yeah.
These
You're
people
like,
are
wow,
not mentally
surprise.
ill. Okay, they're not
Okay.
mentally ill.
Yeah, they're
at all.
faking it.
Perfectly fine.
Like, hey.
They're faking it. They just faked dissociative identity disorder. And this guy in this thread shows here that they have there's a fake disorder epidemic going on here. And you could see here that people are calling it out, and they don't know what to do about this upsurge in fake mental illnesses that they're creating, which I think could be a mental illness in and of
Innocent
itself.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. So
For sure.
it's like, at what point do you call something a mental illness, or is it just undesirable and just fucked up? And it's like, where have we become as a society, where you have these kids faking mental illness, pretending like they're becoming something else, disassociating, and maybe they are just actually dissociating too. Maybe they're not faking it, because one thing that I've heard is that children who have the unfortunate experience of abuse tend to disassociate, and they create these multiple personalities sometimes. It gets that bad. And I think this is something that the worst of the elites have developed, like the Epstein crew and their extended like satanic friends that are involved with this pedophilic blackmail sex operation.
It's total brainwashing.
It is. Now, I don't know if that's the best note to leave you out on, but I think I'm gonna throw up a song here.
Okay.
This is a group of people in Canada, a group of young Zoomers who ardently oppose this LGBTQ plus agenda. We don't hate these people, but we want to see justice be done to these groomers that are making kids end up like this.
Yep.
And
hopefully a large percentage of them can find Christ again and, see that this is not healthy, and
exactly.
Pray for that to happen.
Yes.
But in the meantime, these groomers need to fall.
The groomers need to fall. These globalists need to fall. These groomers need to fall. So we're going to take a little break here, and I'm going to let you go. CF Nature,
right.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah,
it was a pleasure having you on.
Yeah, it was,
I think you did well for your first stream. Follow CF Nature on Instagram at cf._nature. He has posted some of my videos that I made, so I appreciated that, and thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. My Instagram's currently wiped right now. I only have a couple videos. But I will be having more to come. But yeah, I appreciate it. It was fun. Sorry for my little dart off into the bushes there.
Yeah, no worries.
To avoid
Nature calls, buddy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll see you later, buddy.
All right. Yep,
take her easy. We'll be right back. We'll be talking about immigration and the economic disaster with housing that we're facing. So let's fucking go. All right. Here's a little promo that we made as Canada First. All right. We'll be right back.
Canada First, baby. Let's go. Canada First. Canada First. Canada First. Canada First. Canada First. Canada First. Canada First, baby. Let's go. Fuck Trudeau. These globalists need to fall. Hey, Auntie, what do you think about this? Give me an HH. Hong Kong! It's a great day to come out here and support our truckers. Oh, look at this! It's the fake news CBC, boys! They're going into hiding. Fake news, go home! Don't worry, we're ready for you guys too. Yo, this guy's got the gas! Throwing for you out here, we're holding the line!
All right, and we're back. Okay, I'm going to hop into the chat now to see what everybody is saying. It's been a while since I looked into the chat. Political Puppet Theater is saying, yeah, they aren't faking being crazy. Well, they're crazy in at least one aspect. But are they really as far gone as they're pretending to be? You know, I don't think that they have dissociative identity disorder. But maybe they could will themselves into it. Who the fuck knows? Scuff the Loyalist saying that he hates these people. Well, you know, hate is just a general emotion. I'm sure they hate you too, Scuffed. Canadianism posted CF Nature's Instagram in the chat. Thank you very much for that, Canadianism. Dean Clifford was here, but now he's got to go. Keep it up, he says. Thank you, Dean. I'm looking forward to hearing more of you. And Dean Clifford is the new de facto leader of Diagolon, or the king, I believe. So that's fucking awesome. I know he did a stream with Rance Derrick on Sunday, and it was fucking epic. So I'm looking forward to more streams or content with Dean and a Diagolon crossover. I know Dean Clifford is like a libertarian folk hero here in Canada. He's had many brush-ups with the law, so that's pretty fucking awesome. Good to see you, Kathy NB. Good to see you, Rick Freedom. Canada First Clips. And I think I saw Tyler here earlier. Tyler's saying, my nigga Nature, looking like the Riddler. Yeah, he does. He really does. He also looks kind of like Scuffed Ferryman, because they scuffed Ferryman's Toll, because Ferryman's Toll also has the white balaclava, and you know, he looks like a younger version of him. It's pretty sick. There's a lot of intergenerational basedness going on here. Let's see what's going on Entropy. We got Papa Squirrel, Trish, Monty J, everybody. Purge is what they're saying over there. Mo. Al Stearns saying, let's fucking go. Canada first, baby. Private Boomer. Frank. Frank saying he can't stand the gay lisp. Degenerates. Yeah, what is up with that gay lisp? Like, that is something that is biologically infused with the gay gene, I guess. And I don't believe that there's a gay gene where you were born that way. I think it's part nature, part nurture, as all things are in life. But, you know, there are some people with that gay lisp where you're like, oh, that guy's pretty flaming, you know. So I am a bit empathetic to people who may feel absolutely compelled to that kind of lifestyle. But it's like when you're trying to groom everybody else and convert everybody else to it, like, that's a non-starter. If the people want to do that, they will gravitate towards that. And you don't need to get them at a young age when their mind is completely malleable. You know, be like the rest of us and wait till they're of age, and then you could prey upon them. Jesus Christ. Anyways, I want to get into a different topic. I've talked a lot about fucking groomers. I had a bunch more that I left in the tank there that, you know, we don't need to encourage people to start Fed posting or incite people to Fed post by just posting more and more facts about the history of this groomer philosophy. So let's do a bit of a white pill now. We have Elon Musk buying, I believe, 9% of Twitter. So let's check out all the people that are seething over that. So we have this guy, Robert Reich, saying Elon Musk's vision for the internet is dangerous nonsense. So Elon Musk, he bought up a sizable portion, it's like 7 or 9% of Twitter, and he stepped out of being a board member of Twitter, which means that he now doesn't have a cap of 14% of the company's ownership that he could possibly own. He could literally buy it all up. And now they have a potential hostile takeover at their hands. And Elon Musk, relative to any other billionaire that's out there or any other oligarch, we have the richest man in the world who has made public statements advocating free speech. He made a lot of offhanded comments supporting the truckers in Canada. So people who are literally like designated as criminals and somewhat of domestic terrorists actually in Canada, Elon Musk has been in support of the right to protest and the right to free speech. So having him pulling this power move on Twitter is really good. Hold on, I'm just going to get rid of some of these extra things on the screen here. There we go. But yeah, Elon Musk has this guy seething. He thinks that Elon Musk taking over Twitter and allowing free speech is fascism somehow. You gotta hear this guy's fucking logic. It's absolutely insane. I've never heard so much projection from somebody who is trying to impose authoritarianism upon everybody else. It's absolutely mind-blowing. The chutzpah here. The chutzpah. And I say chutzpah because this guy is indeed a member of the tribe. The tribe that is involved with advocating censorship for opinions and debate that they don't like. But at the same time, they say that they're in support of a democracy. Well, how are you in support of a democracy if people aren't afforded the right to free speech to advocate for their own opinion? It doesn't make any sense. And of course they'll say like, oh, Twitter's a private company, but is it really? Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, all these monopolies, are they going to be able to tell us what we are and are not allowed to say? They are the printing press at this point. And of course, in places like Canada and Europe, where we actually don't have free speech, none of these things even matter. We'll just get thrown in jail. Never mind YouTube, never mind Facebook, never mind Twitter. Anyways, let's see what this guy's argument is against people having free speech. So he says, what improvements, in quotations, does Musk have in mind for Twitter? Will he use his clout over Twitter to prevent users with tens of millions of followers from blocking people who criticize him? I doubt it. So he's really butthurt that Elon Musk blocked him. You know, as if this guy wouldn't want to be able to have the option to block all the people that call him a piece of shit for writing an article like this. As if, once again, a double standard. Will Musk use his clout to let Trump back on? I fear he will. Oh, God forbid somebody gets their free speech back. Well, Musk has long advocated a libertarian vision of an uncontrolled internet. That vision is dangerous rubbish. There's no such animal, and there never will be. Okay, well, we had a pretty good run at the internet for a while, until the ADL started cracking down on every book on Amazon, every YouTube channel on YouTube, every account on Twitter that went against their status quo. We had it for a bit. It was a good run, but we're heading into dark days here when we're not allowed to speak the truth, when we're not even allowed to put forth opinions, to debate, to be able to find what the actual truth is, because that's how you find the truth. You have open discussion. It seems simple, but these people, they fuck with people's heads and they don't understand these simple facts of life. Goes on to say, someone has to decide on the algorithms in every platform. Yeah, you guys always do. Like, the woke SJW left neoliberals always decide on the algorithms. So you guys already do that. You're projecting once again. So someone has to decide on the algorithms in every platform, how they're designed, how they evolve, and what they reveal and what they hide. Yeah, you do that. Your guys do that. Musk has enough power and money to quietly give himself this sort of control over Twitter. Well, I would hope so. Now, I think that Elon Musk would not suppress the libs and the Dems like they do to the right wing. I think he would just allow natural grassroots communication and engagement come to its natural conclusion. Now, I don't even think Elon Musk would do that. I think that's what he's projecting that Elon Musk would do. But at the same time, we would not be in this situation if on all social medias we were allowed to speak the truth, or speak our piece at least, and then have everybody debate it amongst each other without censorship. I think that people would eventually see the truth of things, and that it leans more towards the right. It leans more against globalization. It leans against, cheerleading on Ukraine in this pointless war between oligarchs. And that would just crumble the facade of the establishment and their so-called democracy. You know, say we're a threat to democracy because of our disinformation. Well, ain't that calling the pot calling the kettle black, whatever that fucking saying is. So Musk talks about freedom of speech, but his real power is the freedom of reach. Reaching 80 million Twitter followers without accountability to anyone, including critics like me who were blocked. And enough money to buy himself a seat on Twitter's board. Musk has never believed that power comes with responsibility. He's been unperturbed when his tweets cause real suffering. And then he has a hyperlink. What does the hyperlink lead to? Real suffering. Okay, this one here. What it's like when Elon Musk's Twitter mob comes after you. When female journalists like me dare to question the SpaceX and Tesla founder, there's a predictable result. We get called bitches, idiots, and worse. So you mean you went up against the richest guy in the world and who has millions of followers, and you said something profoundly dumb probably. You probably called him a sexist, you probably called him some kind of fascist like this idiot is doing. And then you got criticized and some random accounts called you a bitch. You know, even though you call everybody else Nazis. Okay, groomer. Okay, groomer. Yeah. And this is just like Taylor Lorenz of the New York Times, who has made it like an industry out of her getting criticized for going after male journalists like Tucker Carlson and Glenn Greenwald and saying that they're abusers because she tried to call them Nazis of some sort, and then they, rebutted her accusations with facts and logic, and then a few people called her a bitch or a cunt or whatever the fuck else, and she starts crying, retreating, doing crocodile tears as like an Ivy League graduating person who's presenting themselves as if they're like a persecuted minority. It's absolutely insane. So this guy, Robert Reich, is doing the same. Musk says he wants to free the internet based, but really what he really aims to do is make it even less accountable than it is now. Oh yeah, it's that fake accountability that we're always hearing about. When have these people ever been accountable? For Russiagate? For the war in Iraq? Which we know that the WMDs that our so-called intelligence gave us killed like 1 million Iraqis because of it? Is that accountability? I believe all those people who promoted that war got promoted by the mainstream media. And of course, he says that social media is filling people's minds with lies, poisoning our minds with pseudoscience and propaganda. Wow. Once again, the pot calling the kettle black. Make no mistakes, this is not about freedom, it's about power. So he's invoking that kind of Marxist logic where everything is a power game, everything is a power game. Well, it kind of is, because you have the power, and now you're trying to project that upon somebody who's reigning in on your power, but actually has some ideological principles like freedom of speech. Freedom of speech could call out your power, and that's why you find it such a threat. Anyways, of course, he tries to lump all these guys in together as a good propagandist does. That's Musk's dreams, and Trump's, and Putin's. I'm surprised he didn't say Hitler there. Wow. And the dream of every dictator, strongman, demagogue. I like that word, demagogue. Edgy D, edgy demagogue. Let's fucking go. Every demagogue and modern-day robber baron on Earth. Every modern-day robber baron. You mean like the Bidens and all the billionaires that are funding Zelensky, like Kolomoisky, all those robber barons who are robbing Ukraine blind while sending their men and women and other countries' men and women in to die for their billions of dollars, for their interests. Oh, those modern day robber barons. Okay, not those ones. You know. For the rest of us, it would be a brave new nightmare. All right, save the theatrics. I have never heard so much projection from one single journalist. So that's the Elon Musk question. Now, once again, I have some reservations about Elon Musk. You know, he's at the forefront of AI. He's the richest guy in the world. He's there for a reason. They put him there for a reason, I believe. Or they let him be in that position for a reason. AI is the crux. It is the thing that will allow the elites to take full control over our lives. In fact, it's what will take away our freedoms, our humanity, our ability to think for ourselves, to have free will. Because if your brain is connected to AI, eventually the AI is going to take over. Like, what is more powerful? All this computer processing power that is connected into your brain, or the neurons that are firing on in your own brain that make you who you are. So Elon Musk may be playing controlled opposition for this brave new world that we are approaching upon. And I saw this on Twitter. This is pretty interesting. Figure I'd share it as one last black pill before we get off of the Elon question. It says, I like Elon, but this is his mother. And of course, we see a bunch of Freemasonic symbology, you know, same kind of stuff we saw in Bimbo's initiation. But yeah, we got the 666 there. We got the hidden eye, all that crap. I forget what it's all called, but very specific stuff. Part of a secret society, most definitely. Hopefully, he's leaning more towards allowing at least the next few generations to retain their humanity, you know? Like, what are we even fighting for at this point? We fight for you and me. We fight to retain what's last of our humanity here. You know what I mean? We only live one life here on Earth. Let's try to serve God in the best way possible and do the best for ourselves and for the people we love. Let's see what people have to say about the Elon question. We have a fight going on about the Vatican and Catholics in the chat. I'm not going to get into that. Canadianism is saying he says the N-word without an N-pass. That's pretty badass. I gotta respect that. You know, I did used to say it before I had the pass, but now it's just a little extra protection for when I go around screaming it in the ghetto. People are calling each other feds in the chat. That's pretty typical. Whatever. Al Stern says, speak to me, Kolomoisky. You know, Kolomoisky, the billionaire that's been funding Zelensky in the Ukraine, who's living, I believe, in Switzerland right now. Speak to me, Kolomoisky. He's like our, Zelensky is like our Trudeau. Except for Zelensky, it still seems a lot cooler than Trudeau. Like, at least Zelensky can string sentences together. I'm not really sure what he's saying because he's speaking in Ukrainian. But I think all the cocaine that they're feeding him in order to keep him in line is at least making him coherent compared to somebody like Justin Trudeau, who's in every sentence. Al Stern is saying, I hope Musk does a hostile takeover of that cesspool of a company. Yeah, fuck Twitter, man. I got banned from Twitter for simply following an alt account of Nick J. Fuentes. So Nick Fuentes kept on making different accounts after he got banned. And then after the last one, He did a Twitter space that got a lot of views, and he was holding court in their new Twitter space function, where it's kind of like somewhat of a live stream on Twitter. And they decided, oh, we got to shut this guy down and his whole network of people. So anyone who is simply following Nick Fuentes got algorithmically banned. So that's what we're dealing with when it comes to Twitter. It's fucking so stupid because I've never even got a single warning on Twitter. Like, I keep it kind of clean in that I don't argue with stupid people. I don't call people names. I just do my own thing on my own timeline, and I still got banned. I still got fucking banned by some kind of association accusation. And no one cares. Like, no one at their headquarters cares. I have no recourse for that. So hopefully Elon Musk will do something about these sick algorithm bans that they're perpetrating upon people. Jason73 saying, if you aren't banned from Twitter, I question, are you even based? It's a good point. It's a good point. All right, well, it's only 10:37. I think I got about a half an hour more that I want to go through. And I think we're going to tackle mass immigration. I got some interesting stuff here. This is a clip from Tucker Carlson's show with a professor, a famous professor at Penn State University, I believe. And she has some interesting things to say about immigration that caught the attention of the left. So let's check out what she had to say. Now, the description of this video says, Penn Law professor Amy Wax tells Tucker Carlson that blacks and other non-Western groups harbor resentment, shame, and envy against Western people for their outsized achievements and contributions. So you know this is going to be fucking spicy. Coming from a Penn Law professor. You know the left is going to be seething when they hear something like this.
How is that different from vandalism? It just seems like people coming in and... How is that different from vandalism? It just seems like people coming in and wrecking everything that was valuable in an institution that they never built themselves.
It's very reckless and destructive. It's very vindictive. It's very angry.
Yeah. Where does that anger come from, do you think?
I think there is just a tremendous amount of resentment and shame of non-Western peoples against Western peoples for Western peoples' outsized achievements and contributions. I mean, it's really unbearable.
I mean, think about any inventions that have ever happened in history that are practical, that have evolved society, that have, you know, brought about the industrial society where we have improved our lives. It's almost all Western society. Europeans. I know they're not going to say Europeans here, but I mean, doesn't mean that we have to oppress other people, but let's just say the facts. Let's just tell the truth here.
I was actually, you know, leaving aside American blacks, who I think do feel that resentment and shame and envy. I mean, it's this unholy brew of sentiments. I was talking to Glenn Lowry about this bizarre fact that Asian and South Asian, Indian doctors at Penn Med, which I know people there and I know what's going on there, that they're on the ramparts for the anti-racism initiative for Dump on America. America is an evil, racist place. These are immigrants.
The number one highest income group in America is...
Hate America.
Right.
A goodly number of them, not all.
But you're from a group... I mean, first of all, I hate even thinking in terms of groups anyway, because what matters is the individual.
I agree with that on one level, but on the other, like that, we should think of each other as individuals. But on the other level, you don't bring a gun to a knife. You don't bring a knife to a gunfight. Like, all these other groups are balkanizing, and they're blaming white people. And then the conservatives, as soon as white people try to say, hey, like, don't discriminate against us, and then other white people get together and say the same thing, then they demonize us as if we're white supremacists. When we're being literally attacked as white people, we're being identified as white simply because of the color of our skins. And then we try to say, hey, don't say that about us. And then we present facts about the different group differences that they have already established. They have created the social constructs. They're also biological constructs of reality, don't get me wrong. But they're the ones who are creating these very specific social constructs and then galvanizing upon those constructs. And then as soon as you try to defend yourself, then you're a white supremacist. So, seems like these guys are kind of pushing back against that. You're saying, oh, of course we're individuals, but what the hell is going on here?
One highest income group in America is...
hate America.
Right.
A goodly number of them, not all.
But you're from a group, I mean, first of all, I hate even thinking in terms of groups anyway, because what matters is the individual, obviously. But as long as we are, if you're a member of the highest income, highest achievement group in America, and you're looking down another group, native-born whites, for example, and saying you're the problem, like, how does that work exactly?
Well, that is, to me, utterly bizarre and fascinating. And
why does anybody put up with that?
Right, I'm not saying all Indian immigrants are this way. I'm just saying you look at the roster of, who's leading the programs, the endless number of programs where...
Okay, this is where it gets a little bit interesting, and where I would divert from what they're saying.
They talk about diversity and racism and all the racism that people have to encounter in medicine and how racist medicine is and all this. And you see these brown faces or you see these Asian faces and you think, I mean, literally you think, so you're coming from your country, which you're implying is equal or better than our country. And you're telling us how awful we are. Well, what's the explanation for that?
China's an ethnic state, by the way, which no one ever says. It's about the Han Chinese, and if you're not, that's the problem with the Uyghurs. That's their religion. They're not Han Chinese. Whatever. I'm not even judging. I'm just saying people from there have no right to judge the United States.
But they very much feel that they do.
They say, look who's running these programs. It's all these brown, these Asian, these people of color who come from, these immigrants who come from these other countries. Well, who's giving them the money to do that? Of course they're not going to say that. They're not going to say what group that is. I mean, they mentioned every other group, but the one who's funding all this stuff for the most part. But this is pretty good. They're explaining what is happening, at least.
Is, to me, utterly bizarre and fascinating. And
why does anybody put up with that?
Right, I'm not saying all Indian immigrants are this way. I'm just saying you look at the roster of, who's leading the programs, the endless number of programs where they...
Yeah, I'm sure China is funding all these programs. Yeah, or India is funding all these programs. Anyways, this is a pretty interesting video I thought I'd share. Here's another interesting thing that I saw. It has to do with IQ, but no, not about race. You thought I was going to go about IQ and race, but this one is about men and women and how they vote and what their college majors are. So in this first picture here, we see that men who have college degrees in the U.S., their congressional preference, so, they have a tendency to vote more Republican. Now, it shows from 2018 to now and what the shift will be that they're predicting in the future. So men with college degrees, in 2018 they were more Democrat, but now they're quickly shifting more Republican, probably because you're alienating men, and the ones with no degrees, they've always been for Republican, and they're going more in that direction. So You got the working class men there. Probably more valuable members of society than men with college degrees, to be honest. So that is the true working class there. And you have women with no degrees here at the bottom. You know, they have a slight Democratic, Democrat Party bias as of now in 2018, and they're predicted to go slightly to the right soon. But then you have the eternal educated woman who is firmly Democrat, and it seems like they're switching more and more to the right. Women with college degrees going more towards being a Democrat. And then just below, there's this chart here that shows the average IQ of students by gender ratio. And what it shows is that almost all women of mid-wit IQ, so around 100 to 120, they dominate sectors like social work, like education, and health professionals, and psychology. So these are the things where they meddle into people's lives, right? Like social work. These women, as like an extension, as like a proxy warrior of the managerial, bureaucratic class. They're getting involved with people's families and stuff. And not to say that some families who are abusive, that they don't need to be intervened with social work. But then you have these women who are all voting Democrat, and what are the Democrats about now? They're full-on SJW, transgender. You know, you have Admiral Levine, the first female so-called 4-star admiral under the Biden administration. You know, there's no room for bigotry. There's no room for homophobia or sexism in the new Democratic Party. There's no room for white people. You have some Democratic candidates that say that their job is to make white people shut up and sit down and let people of color speak. So if the people who are involved with social work, education, psychology, and health professions are thinking in the way of your modern Democrat, you know, voting for Joe Biden, for Kamala Harris, all these SJW warrior, cultural Marxist people, these are the people who are going to have access to your children through education, who are the health professionals like nurses, who are going to obviously buy into all the COVID narratives, buy into all the health lockdowns, and psychology too. They're the ones who are going to reprogram everybody's minds. They're the ones who are going to be involved with the media, obviously, to repeat and program everybody through repetition, through manipulation, all under the guise of social work, essentially, of doing a social good. And they all fall in the midwit area, you know. I think the way that IQ parses out between men and women is that women have a more of a centralized IQ around the hundreds range. And I'm talking specifically for like white women and white men here. But the men, and this would go across all races too, but to different extents, right? In different ranges on the IQ spectrum. But men tend to have way more, or yeah, men are the ones who tend to have outlier geniuses. And that's why you get at the top physics and astronomy, engineering, computer science, all this stuff, mathematics and philosophy, stuff that could help move the world along into new levels of productivity. Stuff that you could invent the new technology that allows us to have the next level of human extension. Now, when you have all these other elements involved, like the social work and the psychology involved, and they start meandering and, you know, getting affirmative action into these higher sciences, then you're going to see them be corrupted too. So it's an interesting phenomenon going here. And once again, IQ does not lie. General intelligence does not lie. And women's voting habits. I don't know what to say about it. I don't know what the solution is here. I would just tell women, please don't vote. You're going to ruin society here. I don't know what else to say. They're not going to listen to me, but if you can, go more towards the right. Vote more to the right, okay? You know, we could use your vote, actually. You know, ix that. You should vote. Just vote Republican, and then at least we could create less of a controlled opposition paradigm between the left and the right. Overall, voting doesn't really matter. So, at the end of the day, we're just going to have to see where this crashing economy lands on its crashing and burn phase, but we'll see where it goes. Let's see what Miss Freeland has to say about housing.
There are a lot of challenges with housing in Canada, and that's why our housing plan has a lot of different planks in it. But the most fundamental fact is our population is growing faster than our supply of housing. It's just a problem of numbers and of math. And as a country, we want to be a growing country.
It's a problem of numbers and math. Well said, well said. This is, once again, what happens when you have this managerial, bureaucratic class of women coming in and telling you about economics.
And it is great that we are a growing country. But in order to be a country that grows in a healthy, sustainable way, we just have to build more homes.
Healthy and sustainable way. So nobody could afford homes for shit. And we need to be a growing country, whatever that means. And we know that that actually means that we just need to have more and more globalization. We need to raise our GDP. But not GDP per capita, of course. Not people's individual wages, not people's individual prosperity. No, we just have to flood the country with more and more people so that we could raise the overall GDP, which doesn't mean shit for you and me if we're the ones who are footing the bill for all these other people that are coming in here. Now here's a perfect comment that illustrates it. Without the immigration, so somebody says here, the obvious, it may have something to do with the mass immigration her government appears to like. And this guy says, without the immigration, where does Canada get GDP growth? Let me guess. Canadians would be willing to have 2.5 children per household? And it's like, yes, I would love to have that if I could even possibly afford that in this fucking economy where everything is getting inflated to fuck. Nobody could afford homes, even on a good budget, even on a good salary. And I'll show you some more about that in a second. And somebody paraphrases this guy in more accurate speak, saying, we must ensure the national GDP rises while the per capita GDP collapses, no matter the cost. And everybody's just saying the obvious here. Why do we need the growth? We are becoming worse off on a per capita basis. So this growth is like an artificial growth of what it means to be a nation, when the growth that we want is the growth of our individual self-determination, to be able to have families, to be able to have a livable wage. I mean, it seems pretty obvious, but, you know, it's that sleight of hand. It's that classic sleight of hand there. And I get a load of this. Okay, I don't know which one of these I should do first. I haven't read this one yet, but the headline is hilarious. The president of BlackRock investment firm, so the person or the company that owns most of the companies in the world, or is the top shareholder in like almost all companies, BlackRock along with Vanguard, their investment firm warns of an entitled generation. That's us. We're the entitled generation. That we need a brace for a shock of shortages and higher inflation. Experts warn Americans will pay an extra $433 a month for basic goods this year. Oh, wow. Oh, how entitled of me to expect otherwise. Wow, thank you, Mr. BlackRock. Well, maybe you could buy up all those properties and, you know, sell it to an immigrant family of 10 who could pool all their money together. They could live 6 families together, and they could afford it instead of me. I'll just live in my cuck pod, and I'll drink my my soy beverages, and maybe once a week I'll get to ride the town bicycle. And no, I don't mean the town whore when I say the town bicycle. I mean literally the town bicycle. Because, you know, I'm not going to be able to afford a car. Gas prices? Are you fucking kidding me? Putin already tanked our gas prices, of course. Now, this is the icing on the cake here. How 4 millennial co-owners got into Canada's least affordable housing market. So if you want to have any dreams of owning a house in the future, this is what you got to do, apparently. Okay, I'll just show you guys the video first, because the video...
In other news...
Okay, apparently we have a 30-second ad here, so I'll just go through a bit of this. From the outside, the 3-story semi-detached duplex west of Toronto's downtown core doesn't stand out as being unique. Yeah, it's a fucking house. But when you set foot inside its 3,000 square feet, ooh, you're greeted by what are essentially 2 dwellings under one roof. And if you look at the mortgage arrangements for it, it's a nearly $2 million house. You would see the names of 4 millennial co-owners, which isn't typical. No shit. Michael Carlson, 36 years old, who's a teacher and financial planner, says it's the home he dreamed of, but wasn't sure he could ever own. So let's see what they have to say.
This 3,000 square foot duplex with 2 separate dwellings under one roof sold in March 2021 to 4 friends. They pooled their resources to afford the $2 million semi close to transit with a backyard.
More people having down payment, more salaries on the mortgage allow you to buy something bigger.
Homeownership is split 50-50 between the 2 couples, who each came in with a $200,000 down payment. Now, all of this is possible with advanced planning, lots of legal documents and agreements before moving in, and monthly house meetings, plus 2 meetings every week when schedules permit.
Those are a bit more casual. We do them over dinner. We cook each other dinner.
Oh my goodness, look at that chin. No, I do not think that this is the man of the house. You have another couple with them. What kind of cuckery is going on in this household? Come on, millennials. We could do better than this.
One night a week. And those are kind of...
Look at her chin, and look at this fucking guy's chin. Of course, the news is inverting reality. Or at least I would think, but I think this is the new reality. We have Mr. Weak Chin, and we have fucking Johnny Bravo over here on the right. Jesus.
Spaces to come together and chat.
These 4 millennial buyers, whose annual pay ranges from $60,000 to $120,000.
Okay, well, this guy's gonna get cucked.
Are part of a growing trend in the most expensive urban centers. Toronto-based co-ownership company Arboro has seen a nearly 400% surge in interest in their services this year compared with the end of last year. Some trying to get ahead of rising interest rates, others looking to get into a market they can't access on their own.
Well, I guess it's just the way she is, you know? Well, maybe we should figure out why this is happening instead of just saying it like it's the law of the land.
They feel like, where has this been kind of all my life?
These co-owners are celebrating 1 year since they purchased together, and they have this advice for people considering this path.
It takes time and it does take effort, but I think there's a huge payoff.
Oh my God!
With yourself first and what your needs.
They're actually partners. Okay. Wow, this is the gay disco. This is the gay disco dream. This is the most you could hope for in E. Michael Jones gay disco. You know, you can't have a livable wage. You have to live with 4 other people if you want a decent sized house.
Because in co-housing, it can get really easy, if that's something you're thinking about, to people please, or, you know, go with to people.
Is this like a soy buffet here? God damn.
To people please, or, you know, go with the group.
You know, it increases affordability, it increases options for them. And it helps build community, and I think leads to a richer.
It helps build community.
And Gaviola, global.
It helps build communism. Oh my goodness. Well, I mean, that's pretty cool. Like, if it was me and the boys, like me and the CF boys, or me and some Diagolon boys living in that house, and we're all living together, to be honest, I wouldn't complain as much. I wouldn't be roasting it as hard, but, like, come on, we shouldn't be living like this. And they're trying to predispose people to accept that this isn't a new reality, that none of you are getting houses. You're all going to be living in apartments, cuck pods, unless you have an above average salary and you pool your salaries together with 4 people, then maybe you'll be able to afford a house. Well, of course, they've all got their thumbs up with their masks on. Well, with a bunch of good citizens. You know, there's strength in numbers. So these guys' annual pay ranges are from $60,000 to $120,000. And this is what they could afford. And of course, the $1 to $2 million houses are incredibly saturated. Do they say how they're saturated? Maybe by foreign buyers? Oh, well, let's not mention that. But once they get a bit higher, then there's no bully offers that push them out of the market. And there they are, having their soy buffet. And then the runaway home prices. Of course, it talks about how dire the circumstances are. No reason why. It's just the way it is, I guess. You know, this is hilarious. This is how you find out who is the man of the house out of all those 4 men that we just saw there. This came into play in January. Like the difficulties that they have as 4 home co-owners when their boiler broke down, leaving them without heat in the dead of winter. Luckily, they had to set up an emergency fund for these types of repairs. Rudden says that the group discovered that Carlson was the house's de facto general manager as he took the lead on getting the boiler chip fixed. So that's how you rise above the rest of the soy boys in your millennial 4-person co-owned house. You just know how to fix a simple thing. Well, the rest of them go, oh no, it's so cold. And they wither and they soy away. Fucking the Chad Carlson comes in as the de facto general manager and he fixed the boiler chip. Let's fucking go. And then they find out that he's the king of the castle there. But, you know, it's tough because if they were to try to pull their minds together and try to get together to fix the boiler chip, then they might all contract COVID because it's the deadly Omicron wave, as the news states here. So I don't know, they've always got all these new all these new age problems to go with, you know. Ever increasing inflation, housing prices just running away, infinity and beyond. Omicron waves. The 4 people in their own house can't even see each other. How are they ever gonna do their bi-weekly meetings or whatever? How is Carlson gonna cuck all the rest of the guys living there? Who the fuck knows? These are modern problems. And they require modern solutions. I don't know. I guess I'm just a boomer at this point. But anyways, let's see what people in the chat have to say about all of this. And I think I'm gonna wrap it up in about a second here. Political Puppet Theater is saying that she does have the strongest jaw of the bunch. Hell yeah. Yeah, I think there's like an inverse of testosterone going on there between male and female, if those two binaries are even a thing at this point. A320 is saying spend all your money before it's worthless. Yeah, here to help spread the light is saying it's like cattle, describing how the slaughter is a great payoff. It really is. If they pooled their $1,200 a month of rent and got they could have got a mansion in Vancouver Hills. Yeah. Trish is saying that the UN Agenda 2030, with that, they only want 6% of their expansions of single houses being built. The rest will be apartments, townhomes, and row house duplexes. Yeah, I think home ownership is going to be a thing of the past. They're definitely, with that propaganda there, trying to prep people's minds to say, you're going to be living in these alternative arrangements, and there's going to be new struggles and new experiences that you're going to love, and it's all good, and you have won something, you have accomplished something if you could live with 3 other millennials, pooling all your money together. No one important is saying, I bet she's the one boinking all of them. Yeah, she's the one who's jumping on top and straddling each one of these soy boys. The modern nuclear family, says Frank. Oh, Trish says it's Mulroney. It's a Mulroney chin. Yes, is that Brian Mulroney you're talking about? I think so. Is there really any other Mulroney that she would be talking about? Holy fuck. Yeah. Yeah, I think we got a positive ID on that one. Yes, that is indeed a Mulroney chin right there. Okay. Well, for participating in that propaganda, one day he might be the new Prime Minister of Canada. And I think that's about it, guys. I think we had a fun time. I'm glad you guys all came out. Smash that like button, and yeah. Hit the notification bell here on this new channel that I have here, the EdgeStream, different than my EdgyDtv channel, but hit the notification bell if you want to get the notifications right to your phone or whatever. And have a good one. I'll play you guys out with some music now. Thanks for coming on. Cheers, everybody.
So guess what? What? I don't know.
Take a knife and drain your life. If it's a deep, I gotta bite it. If I see weed, I gotta light it. If I get feelings, gotta hide it. If it's illegal, I don't mind it. I broke my wrist, I gotta ice it. I wanna see you be my sidekick. If I post pics, you gotta like it. If you do this, then you're the nicest. To be honest, if it's wrong, I don't want to be right. I don't wanna talk if you're not gonna talk to me nice. To be honest, if it's wrong, I don't want to be right. I don't wanna talk if you're not gonna talk to me nice. Talk to me nice, talk to me nice. I don't wanna talk if you're not gonna talk to me nice. Talk to me nice, talk to me nice. I don't nothing at 3 strike it. Can't name the feeling, man, that I get. All this shit, I'm going through a crisis. If you do this for me, you're the nicest. You're the nicest. My sleep full of surprises.